Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with another process video, and I'm starting this layout by making some wildflowers to match my photographs or to go with my photographs that I'm going to scrapbook. And I have this Spellbinders wildflower die, and I'm cutting it out in the green as kind of a base layer, and then I want to add texture to it. So I pulled that die, that silver die on the left with all the petals, and that's from a Sizzix it's a Susan's Garden die called Yarrow, and I'm just going to use the petal portion here of these little flower petals and cut out several colors of red, and I'm going to kind of form these a little bit and glue them onto that green base layer just to give me some little wildflowers. On this layout, I kind of challenged myself to make some flowers and use smaller flowers instead of using my go-to big flower dies. I wanted to, kind of challenge myself a little bit. And there's the Yarrow die that I borrowed that piece from. And so now that I've got all my little flower petals or my little individual flowers cut out, I'm just going to grab a little piece of foam here and a stylus, and I'm just going to punch down in the center of these, and that cups the flower and gives it more dimension and texture and realism. And then once I get those formed, I'm going to glue them onto that green piece. And I haven't shown the photos here yet, but they're of our puppy, and he's in some clover. I didn't have any clover dies, so I went with just kind of making my own little wildflowers to kind of match into it, and I'm kind of matching the red clover with this red flower here. And I also do some of these in the exact same way using blue for the flowers. So it's just going to give some smaller, more intricate flowers to have on the layout. And it helps me, when I challenge myself, it helps me to break into some dies that I don't normally use and find out new ways to use them, because sometimes I just get stuck into using my favorites, and I use them over and over and over again, and I need to play with these and come up with ways to make them like my new favorites, and change up the look of some of my layouts. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue these on, and I kind of put lighter ones toward the tip and darker ones toward the base. I don't know, just to give it a little more depth in shadowing. And there you can see the one I just did, and I had done some previously. And then of course, like I said, I do some in blue as well. And then I'm going to use this We Are Memory Keepers dark paper, and that's another thing. I was challenging myself to do a layout with a dark patterned paper in the background. And so the two floral cuts I already put on there are from Paper Wishes. They're the wildflowers, so paperwishes.com, you can buy it. It's a wildflower die, and this little fern leaf I got from Elena Craft. She's on AliExpress, and I'm just using those to put some green texture in the background because my photos are very green with just a little bit of blue sky, and that's why I went with the blue flowers as well, because I didn't want it to all just be red and green. But it is very lush, and the background is mostly red and green. So I'm going to go ahead and put that picture down. And our puppy, he just, every time I would crouch down to get close to a flower to take a picture or a close-up of a flower, he would have to run over and see what I was looking at and sniff the flower, maybe eat it or whatever. So so I had just kind of gotten down there to take a close-up of some clover, and he just saw me get down there and he runs over, so I went ahead and took his picture instead. And there you can see those exact same flowers kind of done in the blue. And I think that just kind of, you know, picks up the whole layout and keeps it from being, you know, too much of the same colors. So I just want to kind of surround these and, you know, kind of make it seem like the foliage in the photos is kind of just going off the side into the layout. And it's just a little bit different than, you know, anything I'd ever done, kind of doing a little bit more intricate meadow flower layout. So I fuss around with these a little bit, and then I glue some of this down with just a glue stick, and then the rest of it I use my hot glue to adhere on here. And the picture where he's running towards me, I did put up on some dimensional foam. And I have to be really careful if I'm taking a picture of like an orchid or something, that I gotta be careful that, you know, he's not gonna run over there and chomp the flower, because he'll try to eat whatever I'm doing. If I'm digging, he tries to dig. If I'm pruning, he tries to pull the bushes apart. Whatever I'm doing, he wants to do it. Oh, and these little guys, these little things right here that I'm gluing down are from a Spellbinders. It's like a potted basil die, and I'm just using the little basil pieces here just to add a few more little pieces of interest into those wildflowers. There I am, just hot gluing that down. And I did double mat these on some green paper. All the green paper was just out of my scrap bin, so I don't even know what it is in the red and blue as well. I just kind of went through my scrap bin and did a bunch of die cutting. And then this is a Recollections. It's an older little kind of embellishment pack, and I really like the colors on these two butterflies. They really went well with the green and the blue, and then they had a little touch of black on them. I didn't like the white edges. It stood out too much against my darker background, so I'm just taking my scissors and cutting off the extra white bits. Now these are chipboard butterflies, so unfortunately I can't really fluff the wings up on them, you know, but that's okay. They still give dimension because they are the, you know, cardstock, or I mean chipboard. So there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue that one over here. And then I do this same with this one that has just a little bit of blue on it, which I like. It kind of brings in those little blue flowers. And it just gives a little bit of interest besides only flowers around the photos. So I pull that up, and I was glad to be able to break into that little Recollections pack. That's been something that's been in my stash for a long time. And so I go ahead and I put that little blue one over here on the right hand side. So I'm really liking this, but I know it needs something else. And so I pulled in a K & Company pack. This is a really old one. I don't have any more of the collection that this goes with. I must have just picked up this pack at like Tuesday morning at some point or something. So I'm just pulling off pretty much only the top layers of some of these. They are dimensional stickers. So on some of them I'm just pulling up the raised part. But I do like the colors. It has kind of the red and the greens that are in my layout. So I want to use 3 of those, and then I also use a little leaf sprig to kind of stick in there. So I'm really liking that. And I think it says stuff like Sweet Life and Bloom and Picture Perfect or something like that. So they're all things that kind of go with the theme of my photographs. Again, just glad to use up older stash in colors that I'm not as much into now, as I was, but still with all the die cutting and stuff like that, still kind of, brought it forward and made it work in some of the stuff I'm doing today. And then I'm also wanting to put a little bit of something in the center of those flowers, and so I go and I get a little bit of glitter glue, and I use just some blue glitter in the blue flowers and some red glitter in the red flowers, just to give them a little lift. And there is some sparkle and glitter on those stickers, so that kind of just matches in with everything. So I get a little bit too much glitter in some of these. I wish I could have made a smaller little dot, but it turns out okay. I just didn't want it to get too sparkly. And so I go ahead and I add that. And yeah, it was, like I said, it was a challenge to do this on the dark colored background paper, but I really love how it turned out. And it really makes those photographs pop, and it really gives you that sense of a shaded, woody area. And that's kind of what I wanted to convey. And then for a title, I pulled this die, which is a Momenta die, and I cut the word explore, and I did it twice in the dark green and the light green that I matted my photos with, because I didn't have any dark green thickers or letter stickers, so I just went ahead and used my die cut so that I knew it would match in, because I have a lot going on with all those flowers and all that foliage, so I didn't want to add too much more and or introduce a new color. So at this point I call it done. I'm going to have to find a white pen so I can do some journaling on this, but I didn't have a white pen that would still write. They're all dried up now. So anyhow, I will do some journaling below that word explore in a white pen. And so there you can see a close-up of all the stickers and the die cuts and the little flowers. And I think it just turned out really cute. And another one for the dog layout. This would be great to do for the grandkids and stuff as well, or any kind of outdoor picnic photos would be cute to make your own little flower garden to go around them. So anyhow, that is the finished layout. If you have any questions or anything, just leave them in the comment down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.